to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and you're about to listen to a hypnosis session all about worrying about food poisoning. Now, there's a distinction here. This isn't hypnosis for food poisoning, it's hypnosis for worrying about food poisoning. And I was working with a client that was a younger client that had experiences in the past of very long vomiting sessions that lasted for hours, and that was very traumatic for them. So they were very vigilant about anything that could increase the probability of one of these long vomiting experiences. And they were worried about the idea of food poisoning. And because they wanted to protect themselves, they were checking things like the smell of the food or the date of the food or how long it was left out in the open, and Googling and asking the internet for different advice. And it came from a good place. Their brain was trying to protect them. But in doing so, the paradox here is that thinking and checking and trying to protect themselves in that anxious way, paradoxically, the anxiety could cause nausea, and that would make them feel like they were going to be sick. But it was the anxiety and not any food poisoning that was doing that. And I'm constantly surprised by how many times the human brain and the human body ends up with this very strange paradox where the very thing it tries to protect from, it ends up contributing. For example, if someone tries to make themselves sleep, they end up staying awake. If someone worries about food poisoning, they might end up feeling more nauseous. I see these paradoxes all the time. So the key thing is not to try and control and overcheck, because if it's the anxiety causing the nausea rather than the thing itself, then actually making an evaluation that you're doing what you can to mitigate risks, but even if you got sick, you could handle it, just like so many other areas of life, is going to feel more empowering and then reduce the anxiety, and then the nausea itself is going to be reduced. So if you can connect the idea about worrying about maybe bacteria or food poisoning or viruses and salmonella and things like that, you might get some value from this session. Just remember it was created for an individual client, and as such, some of the suggestions might be relevant for them and not right for you. So if you like the idea of working with me directly, if you check the show notes, you will see a discounted code to get a consultation call with me. And also, I've recently launched a brand new online store, an e-commerce store that has over 1,000 of my hypnosis downloads. And because it's just launched, there is a code that gives you 2 free downloads by using the code WELCOME. So again, if you check the code in the show notes, you can access that on my store. And the store is called thehypnotiststore.com. So you can just check that. And if you put the code WELCOME, you can only use it once, but you can use it and you'll get at least 2 completely free downloads that normally cost about $10 each. So feel free to check that out. For now, though, you might get some value from this session. So find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be distracted or disturbed. Relax and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in, I wonder if you can breathe in a deep breath of pure relaxation. And as you exhale, give yourself permission to release, to let go of any stress and worries and tension, any fears. Allow it to leave your body in your outward breath. And when you breathe in for deeper than you normally would. And as you exhale, give yourself permission to allow that outward breath to carry on for longer than it normally would. Each breath takes you deeper and deeper relaxed. Eyelids feeling heavier, jaw feeling looser, as you allow yourself to drift deeper and deeper within. And maybe you notice with your eyes closed how much easier it becomes to focus on the sound of my voice. So get yourself even more comfortable now. Take a slow breath in and breathe out. And again, breathing in deeper, exhaling for longer. And you don't have to try very hard, because your body already knows how to relax. Maybe your shoulders can loosen or relax a little, or your hands and your fingers can become loose. And maybe when you breathe in, you just feel it, not just in your chest, but down in your belly too. And while you relax, I wonder if you can accept something useful or important. That there is a part of your brain that has been working very hard to keep you safe. Your brain remembers those moments when you were sick or vomiting, and they lasted much longer than you wanted. And maybe your brain learned that vomiting is something to avoid whenever you can. And maybe part of what you've already learned is that junk food or spicy food increases the probability, and if you avoid certain foods, you reduce the likelihood of feeling nauseous or wanting to vomit. But sometimes people hear a word like food poisoning or bacteria, or the idea that food might be left out in the open and it may no longer be safe. When that happens, the brain, because it wants to protect you, sometimes it can feel like it's pressing the alarm button to make you anxious or vigilant too quickly. And rather than keeping you safe by being healthy, when the alarm goes off, sometimes it can actually make you feel more anxious. And sometimes when people feel really anxious there in the tummy, they might feel nauseous, and they might start checking and thinking and wondering, even when nothing dangerous is actually happening. And here's all the evidence that you need. Bacteria, the kind of bacteria linked to food poisoning, takes hours before it can have any impact on the body. So if you start to feel something immediately, just by Googling or checking or thinking that isn't food poisoning, that just means your brain is being too careful. Like a smoke alarm that goes off when someone makes toast. That smoke alarm has a good job. but it should warn you about a real danger like a fire. But it doesn't need to raise the alarm when something safe is happening. And maybe there's a part of your brain that can start to figure out the difference now. I want you to imagine that alarm is like a guard inside you. And you can give that guard some new instructions. Maybe you say to that guard, "Thank you for trying to protect me. But you don't need to warn me about every possibility. Because there are people around you that already know how to keep food safe. In restaurants, there's high standards to keep food hygienic. And supermarkets can't sell food that's too old. You already know how to wash your hands. You already know to smell food. But sometimes checking again and again can raise that alarm with a good intention that actually makes you feel more anxious or more nauseous, not because of the food, but because of the checking. And I'll let you in on a secret. Nobody in the entire world needs to feel 100% certain before they eat. Your ancestors lived in a time when there was no fridges and no cookers, and they didn't have sinks to wash their hands, and they still ate and lived. And if your ancestors could do that, imagine how safe you are when you can wash your hands and smell your food, and you know food is washed and cleaned or kept refrigerated. And I wonder if you can tell that alarm or that guard inside you that you don't need to keep checking or Googling for reassurance, and no scanning your body or checking your tummy for clues. And I wonder if you can make a choice not to feed the worry with thoughts and attention, but instead to trust that food is safe. You can wash your hands and smell your food, and avoid the foods that in the past may have made you feel a bit nauseous. And each time you do that, the alarm becomes quieter. And I wonder if you can think about something else you already know. I want you to think of a time, maybe long ago, and you hurt yourself by falling over and maybe banging your knee, a scratch or a graze. Or maybe you caught a cold and you were sneezing, and you didn't enjoy those things, but you did manage to cope. They passed, they were temporary, your body recovered, and feeling nauseous is a bit like that. It's something you don't want, but you more than most know that if you have to, it's something you can handle. It's temporary, it's manageable, and you can cope. And you don't need to promise yourself that you'll never vomit. Nobody can make that promise. But instead, you can know something much more powerful and stronger. And that is that if you ever feel sick, your body and your mind can cope. Your body knows what to do. It may not be pleasant, but it will be manageable, and it will pass. And here's the thing most people don't realize about vomiting. That vomiting, as unpleasant as it is actually one of the ways the body protects you. If your body genuinely doesn't want something inside your stomach, then that nausea and that vomiting is a natural way for your body to remove it. So your body isn't hurting you or attacking you. Your body is trying to help you. And when its job is finished, it stops. And maybe your brain can begin separating two very different things. There's a difference between real sickness, like a virus, and worry about sickness. And real sickness doesn't need hours of thinking. Your body handles it. And worry is the thing that keeps asking, what if? And if your brain starts saying, what if I get sick? What if I get nauseous? Then your brain can answer, if something actually happens, I'll deal with it then, but not now. Not before it happens. Not just because it's possible. So instead of an alarm or a guard that is too sensitive, imagine it becoming more accurate. Maybe you can imagine it has 3 settings: red, yellow, and green. And maybe red is when someone you trust tells you that something really isn't safe. And then you listen, and that's sensible. And yellow is when you're unsure. But instead of Googling, and instead of imagining the worst, you can ask a parent or someone you trust. You ask a question, you get one answer. And that's enough for you to make a decision. And green, this is how you feel about normal food, normal meals. And I want you to get a sense that when things feel green, there's nothing to worry about. And if things are yellow, there's also nothing to worry about. Because you've asked for help and you've got the feedback. And red is the food that you just avoid because you know for certain it's not the right food for you. Think of it like traffic lights. So you get to live your life without worrying, without thinking. And I wonder if you can imagine yourself maybe a few weeks from now. And I wonder what it would feel like if it felt more like how it was several months ago. All the way from March up until August. All of those months of feeling that it all seems fine. And those thoughts of food poisoning get less and less. And instead, there's no need to Google, no need to think, no need to dwell, just you scan your stomach or smell your food. And you think of those old thoughts as just an old alarm that isn't working right. You know how to be sensible, and you don't need to be 100% certain. And if you ever are sick, you can trust that your body can handle it. And then your attention goes back to something more interesting. You don't have to keep thinking about vomiting or food or bacteria. Allow the thoughts to come up and allow them to pass. And allow yourself to carry on doing whatever you truly want to be doing. Safety isn't having people protect you all the time. Real safety is knowing that you can cope with whatever ordinary things happen. Imagine yourself over the next few days eating normally without needing to check, enjoying things and not thinking so much. But this time, with something extra. Not just hoping that nothing happens, but knowing that you're strong enough even if it does. And what if that is confidence and resilience? And what if that is your brain getting smarter? And that old alarm doesn't give you those false alarms anymore. Real danger deserves attention. But these worries and possibilities are not worthy of your attention. Your body is on your side. It can cope. And now we're going to leave this place in your imagination. So take a deeper breath in, feeling good about yourself. And as you breathe out, connect with that feeling of confidence and courage. And just get a sense. You don't need to check and Google. Wash your hands and smell your food, maybe check the dates, and that's all you need. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose, and wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, connecting, calibrating with the here and the now, as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of The Hypnotist. If you've enjoyed this episode or got some value from it, please give it a 5-star rating and review. And maybe you know someone that would also benefit from this particular episode, in which case share the episode with them so they can also get the benefit too. And if you would like to listen to this episode where it's just the hypnosis, so no intro, no outro, no explanation, just the hypnosis and completely ad-free, there will be a link in the description where you can subscribe at a very low cost and only get access to the hypnosis. So if that's of interest, please check that out. Thank you again for being a regular listener of The Hypnotist, and I'll see you again soon for more.